We really can't spend too much more than $100,000. But the problem is, because both lanes, there's two lanes running at the same time, we're not gonna know how much the other person spent. And it's all gonna be happening super fast, super fast. I have no idea how much money we spent. So we have an auction coming up, and it's a car auction. So dealers that trade them in bring them to this car auction. It happens twice a year. We normally go there ready to buy, and normally we buy a couple bikes, you know, like 6 or 7 or 8 or something like that. I'm gonna buy a bunch. I'm gonna buy a lot. We normally get a decent amount of bikes. We normally get them. They're normally pretty decent bikes. So we're trying to figure out if we want to run anything at the auction.
We have 2 slots.
We have 2 spots. So the one we're thinking is that new Bergman we just got in. We were thinking about this bike. People actually love this bike. People are always like, I can't believe this bike's still here. And I'm like, yeah, it's crazy cheap. Maybe I should remind people about it and do another video about it. I think we can sell this. I think we can sell that.
Yeah, so we actually had 2 spots available that we could take stuff to auction to, but the 2 vehicles that we had originally had in mind, they actually both sold like the week before, so we ended up just taking the Bergman. Oh yeah, so I just ended up riding it over the day before, dropping it off the auction, handing the title in, doing everything like prerequisite I had to do. There's a lot of good bikes in there. I was gonna tell you to come in, but there's a sweet Ferrari in there too. But really? There's a lot of good bikes in there for tomorrow. I'm pretty excited. There's a brand new, looks like almost like a brand new FZ9. Really close to new. I don't really want this bike, but it looks super cool. It looks like a Softail Deluxe with a matching sidecar. They got a Honda Goldwing Trike in pearl white.
How many bikes do they have?
Probably like, I don't know, I thought 30, but maybe there's like 60 bikes in there.
Okay.
It's hard to gauge because they're kind of all spread out.
Yeah.
They got a DRZ Supermoto, they got an R1200 GS, they got a ton of Harleys. They have actually one of the bikes that we really wanted to get. They have a Kawasaki Vulcan Nomad with the Indian logo painted on it, which is like a super rare bike. I mean, I'm pretty sure Kawasaki got sued for that by Indian. So it's like it's super cool. They're really cool bikes. But yeah, they got a lot of cool stuff. I'm excited for tomorrow. It'll be a good auction.
Cool.
All right, so we are going to a car auction that's going to sell a bunch of motorcycles, about 50 bikes up there, and I'm going to put numbers on all of them. This is kind of what we normally do. We put numbers on all the bikes. My strategy is a little bit different today because I really want to buy a lot of bikes. So normally I compare what I normally buy bikes for, and I don't pay too much. Now me and Caleb are putting numbers on about 50 bikes right now, and we're putting numbers on what we're going to sell it for. And if we can make money in between from buying it and auction fees and stuff like that, we're going to get it. I'm hoping to buy at least 10 bikes. We really can't spend too much more than $100,000. But the problem is, because both lanes, there's 2 lanes running at the same time, we're not going to know how much the other person spent. And it's all going to be happening super fast, super fast. How much more do you think we should try to pay for that sidecar?
Dude, we could bring this one.
Sidecar kind of devalues it.
I know. I don't think
it makes it really hard to sell.
I mean, a trike I think a trike we want, but I
think if you can find the right guy, that's a $12,000.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that sidecar is gorgeous. I mean, our BTX one was gorgeous.
That's true.
We sold it for like $6,000.
It took us forever to sell it.
Yeah. I don't know. How much do we have retails? You think that's retail? I think that's really concerning. I think that's pretty accurate.
Oh, that's the
sidecar.
No, yeah, that was the number without the sidecar. I wrote myself a note. That was the number without the sidecar. We're looking at bidding on this Deluxe. I love the Deluxe. You don't see very many of them. They're beautiful bikes.
Sorry. Someone's asking me a time-sensitive question.
All right. So we're looking to put a number on this Deluxe. They're beautiful bikes. I love Deluxes. This one came with a sidecar. Sidecars are hard to sell because you got to find that guy who wants a sidecar. A lot of times it might make more sense to separate them and sell the sidecar itself, and then sell the bike as a normal bike. So I think the number we put on this bike was like $8,600, and that was a number that we would have paid without. That was assuming it did not have the sidecar. I didn't really factor in the sidecar.
But in addition, the Deluxe is the weirdest bike to have a sidecar on.
It's a strange bike to have a sidecar.
Because it's a small bike. So in theory, you'd think a man's riding the bike, a woman's in the sidecar.
Right. A lot of times the sidecar is kind of like that little,
The little person.
the smaller guy bike.
Yeah.
They're awesome. Beautiful bikes. I love them.
Go ahead, to say.
All right, so there's 2 lanes, 13 and 14.
You probably should take 13.
All right.
Because 14's got less bikes.
All right, I'll take 13. So at this particular auction, I don't know why they do this, but they run 2 different lanes. So you've got one auctioneer, lanes of vehicles going through it, one auctioneer, lanes of vehicles going through it. If you're really good, you can kind of straddle both lanes and actually kind of bid from both sides. I'm not that good. So Caleb is going to take one lane, the lane with the least amount of bikes, and I'm going to take the other lane.
Dude, does everyone know that this is my first time ever doing this?
I didn't even know that.
Is that good content?
Did I?
Yeah.
It would have been nice if you had told me that. You messed this up. Buy some bikes. So if you notice, I'm not wearing an SRK Cycle sweatshirt, which I always wear. I'm actually wearing a sweatshirt from another local Harley Davidson dealership. This was intentional. I was trying to keep a low profile. Occasionally, I would even keep on my glasses and put up my hoodie until I realized that
You look like the Unabomber?
it made me the Unabomber.
Were you actually going to say that?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I took that down. So the reason I wanted to keep a low profile was because I work with a lot of these other dealerships that I work with are here, and I didn't want to be real flashy and make a big deal like I'm buying bikes out from underneath them.
Right.
So I just tried to, hide in the corner. Whether I did a good job at that, I don't know.
Maybe the fact that we're making a video and proving that we bought all these bikes doesn't really take away
Maybe
from
that takes it away.
Defeats the whole purpose.
Maybe the fact that every time I would do a bid, SRKCYCLES right.
Beat drops, he's like, he just bid! Booch, booch.
I had 12 microphones in my pocket, and every time I do a bid, I'd
Pull out the boombox.
drop the mic.
Down 5, you're out. You got 65, 65, 66, 67. I'm 6600 now, 700 now, 78, 75, 86, 97. 6600 sold you bought it. Didn't bring the big.
All right, we got one bike. This is starting good. This is gonna be a good
Well,
day.
at least we're not going home empty-handed.
We're not going home empty-handed. Did you get anything yet?
No.
Now 4100 now, 1 here now, 100, 4100 2, 102, 4300 3, 4300 3, 3, 4, 4300 4, now 6, 4500 now 600, 500 now 68, 500, 300, 500, 300 once, twice, third and final call and out, 4500 and up, so, I pay the negative 4, 3, 0, I declare next one down, number 7,
We got 3 already.
right here, here it comes, 6, 7, Sir, you can't buy nothing saying no. 2700 down, save $100. So 19 better down, 18 better down, 19 better down, 2 now, 2 better down, 2 down, 2 now, 1, 25 better down, 2 now, 25 better down, 2 now, 2 pounds there, down, $2,100 and 9. So you found it. 430. Thank you, sir. 430. Next one or 10. Number 10, out of the Harley Davidson Radical here. Yes, sir. High tail 6 minutes. Yeah, nice little hair machine right down the Radical here. Service for $9,000. Do a hand back. I'll set a hand. I'm 97 hand back. You got I think 96 if you want me. I'm 95 now 6. I'm 95 now 6. I'm 6 now 6. I'm 95 6 now 7. I'm 97 now 8. Now 9. Now 10 pound now 10 pound now 10 pound now 1, 2.
I'm willing to pay like $8,600. This thing does like $12,000 or $13,000. It was insane. It did crazy money.
Wonder why.
Well, you find that one guy that he wants it. I was keeping my eye on the Harley dealerships. You know, they don't. That's a little too weird for them. So I'm over on my lane. I'm bidding for stuff, and I hear that they're calling for SRKCYCLES to rep the Bergman. And we didn't set this up previously. I got to run up there. So I get out of my lane, run up to the stand.
I didn't hear him say that.
You didn't hear it?
Completely.
Yeah, I heard it. I knew you weren't gonna do it. So I got out of my lane, run up to the stand, and he's like, how much you want for this? And I was like, yeah, I was like, just sell it, man. I don't care. Just whatever it gets, just sell it. And this has never really gone good for me ever, saying that or doing that.
I don't care. Just get rid of it.
So they always start. They start the number real high. They like 2,000, and then they drop it, drop to a number, and then when someone grabs it, then it starts creeping back up. And this thing does 400, 500, 550, 600, 700, 800, 900. We have 800 bucks in this thing. I just didn't want it. 1,000, 11, 12. It sells for $13,000.
1,300.
$1,300.
13,000 is insane.
It sells for $1,300. Now minus the $275 fees, so we're ahead like $225. But it was a bike we didn't want. We just got it in, and I was happy. It was awesome. Best day of my life.
Yeah.
That one, $91 Charlie. City Farm better now, one. Yes, it up. I don't believe it. He says he's gonna keep it. The weather's way too nice. Next one, now 12's up. He says he's gonna let me drive it. Now 12's up, now you're here. Heading here with one owner. Fully service, rented it up, had electric line, had it ready to be sold. Just traded this bike.
There's a couple different bidding nuances that new bidders can really get themselves in a lot of trouble. Is they run a bike in, they run a vehicle in, it shows up on TV or shows up on the screen. Before that vehicle is done with, that vehicle moves out, they bring another one right in. So if you were late coming into the show and you go jump in, oh, I'm bidding on this bike, no way, it's a killer deal. You might be bidding on the bike right before it.
Right, your 82 Yamaha is not the 2018 Street Glide.
Right. You're like, holy cow, $1,500 for a 2018 Street Glide. And then they're like, yeah, that was, you just bought a 1978, like, Eldorado with no engine and, like, catastrophic, you know.
It was in a tornado.
Damn it, you know what I mean? That they pushed out with 12 guys.
And there's no going back, right?
No, if you buy it. Yeah, if you bid and you're the last bidder, it's you.
Yeah, it's yours. Like, you're really not getting out of it.
Right. So another thing you have to worry about is what they call in the dealership industry is bidding against the soda machine. Caleb was definitely bidding against the soda machine. So
at one point I might have been bidding against the soda machine.
So if they're trying to get $8,000 for this thing, the guy next to the auctioneer says, I need $8,000 or I won't sell it. The auctioneer wants you to sell it. So he wants it to get at least at that point, and then maybe someone will, there can be a time where no one's bidding at a lower point, and then 5 guys all jump in at the end. You know what I mean? For whatever reason. So you never will be bidding. So if you're the only guy bidding, sometimes they'll do a fake bid on something else, and they say the joke is you're bidding against a soda machine. So you always want to know who you're bidding against. You gotta be walking around and looking to see who it is and make sure it's a real person. Because sometimes you can be bidding against yourself, just bringing the price up to, you know, what they're probably going to sell it at.
I got one, just the drift.
I got 3.
I got just the drift.
I almost had 4, but he didn't want to sell it.
Yeah, I almost had a second, you didn't want to sell it.
Yo, I think we're buying 10 bikes.
That's crazy. 55? The bid is. A brand new one is $4,900.
38. Reserves off.
So retail. The new one's $5,900. That's crazy.
Yo, you can probably get an old new stock for that same price.
I know. That's insanity, man.
It's up to 52.
Don't worry, we'll take care of it. The
Dude,
$100's on us.
$1,900.
You'll have 98. That'll be your bike.
I almost bought it. I was like, $1,900. That makes sense.
That's like $2,200
Yeah, we'll take it.
after fees.
I know.
Thank you. Appreciate
What are you
it.
talking
Listen
about?
here. Thank you, Will. Thank you, Will.
Ruckus.
Oh, that
Listen
was,
here.
yeah.
Sorry, I apologize. Same thing here, guys. Got 8 hangers on this B-Rod.
The V-Rod with the 8 hangers. When we first got there, we both saw it, and we were both.
I've
like,
never seen one like that before in my life.
Yeah, I remember you were like, I don't want that bike, and I was like, well, and you're like, well, actually, I'll take anything for the right price. But it was very clear we put a very low number on that bike, and so when we went back, it came rolling through the lane, and I was so surprised. I mean, outside, the bars. That's a pretty cheapish fix, $400-500. You can swap new bars out, but I had a really low number on it. I put a really low buy number on it. Put a really low sell number on it, and I ended up getting that thing for $1,000, $1,500, $1,000 less than what I thought I was gonna get it for.
As soon as the V-Rod rolled in, it became a ghost town.
Yeah, nobody wanted it.
And the reason is the big heavy hitters are gonna be the Harley Davidson dealerships.
Yeah.
You know, looking for that stuff, and they don't want a bike that's modified in that way. It's just a strange. It's a strange modification.
Right.
And unless you're gonna sell, unless you're gonna find, go all over the world trying to find a buyer for it, which we can.
Right.
You know what I mean? They just don't want to deal with it.
And it was super weird because the Night Rod had rolled through right before, I'm pretty sure. And the Night Rod had done $3,000. No joke, I had put a number of it at 11 to buy it. And I think it sold for 13. So it had rolled through and done insane money. And I'm like, oh, this next one's going to do insane money. Nobody wanted to touch it. It was the weirdest thing. And I was like, well, I guess we'll take it.
So anytime you're bidding, you don't want to make a big deal, and because you want the other guy bidding against you to think he's also bidding against the soda machine. So you it's not like these shows where they're like, yep. You want to keep it super quiet. You're gonna be back there in the corner, and you just want to be like. So once you get the attention of the auctioneer, and they know, okay, we got 3 people playing, they're gonna look to you and see if you're interested. And if you do your little little nod and stuff like that, you're in. But you don't want to make a big deal about it. It's not a big, loud, flamboyant thing like they show on TV. It's very subtle because you want to get the other guy to think that, well, is anyone really bidding? And you want him to start to go back off.
So I shouldn't have been over with my fireworks. It's my sparklers.
He's holding up his sign. Yeah, it's okay. That's why when I'm at an auction, there's a couple things. Well, first of all, if you're not bidding, you put your sunglasses on. You do not look at that auctioneer. You stay away. You don't look at anybody. Never have your bidder badge available for anyone to see it. Keep it in your pocket.
They just assign it to you.
If you win something, pull it out. But you can accidentally, look at an auctioneer the goofiest way. $1,700, you know what I mean? $17,000. You just bought a Ferrari, my friend. And then if you're wearing your badge right there, like a lot of people do right on their chest, $415. You just buy yourself a Ferrari, and you bought yourself a Ferrari. So you gotta watch out for that.
I did that one time.
Did you?
I almost did. People freaking out because I went over to Mannheim. Someone was like a couple in stores, like, "Yo, what's up, bro?" And raised my hand and stuff. And they're like, "Yo, put your hand down. What are you doing, you idiot?" And I'm like, I didn't have a bidder badge or anything, so I was like, good, but.
You run. At that point, you just run.
Oh, at that point, they drugged me out. They're like, "Get him out of here." They like, threw a sack over my head, drugged me out.
This Goldwing, and we love Goldwing trikes. No one else around here ever sells Goldwing trikes. We love these things. The reason people don't want them, they're big, they take up a lot of space, and they're expensive. But we've been able to sell them really quick. And so the one vehicle that I was like buying this bike was this white Goldwing trike.
Which at the last auction we did buy one.
Yeah, we bought one at the last auction.
Right.
We just sold it. And I was pumped about it. I was planning on selling this thing for like low 20s. 22, 23, 24, something like that.
Right.
It's sold for $24,000. I walked out of the bid at like 21. It was insane.
It really is nuts that people don't do just like a tiny bit of research and figure out what stuff is worth.
I don't know where that thing was going, but yeah, it was nuts.
We did get that Indian looking bike. They called me up. It was an app, but they called me.
Okay, yeah, we got it.
When you're at an auction like this, sometimes they say, you know, a phone call with an if. So they have to call the person who's repping the bike and see if they're actually selling for that bid, because you didn't actually reach what they wanted to sell it for, but it was close, so they're going to call with an if. So with that Indian, and I've seen this, well, the Kawasaki Drifter looks like an Indian. I've seen that bike at the auction 3 times for the past year and a half.
Right.
Tried to buy it a couple times. I don't know if it's the same guy selling it or not. Whatever number Caleb put on it, whatever number was the highest bid, it was an if call. So while I was at the auction, they gave me a phone call and they said, "Hey, you got the Indian."
We got the most illegal bike on the planet.
Really? Is that the one that was like has the Indian logo on it?
They sued Kawasaki when they did that.
Yeah, that's sick.
It's super rare.
That's awesome.
Here, 19 down 2. Right into the 2,000, out of the 2, 2 into the 2 minute 2, 2 into the 2 1, right into the 21, right into the 22.
Now, if you notice this older, handsome fella standing very close to me, this is Guy Gillespie. He was, I actually consider him one of my mentors in the automotive industry. And if you remember from about 2 years ago, what we were selling our bikes under was Fine Cars by Guy. This is Guy. So he was a very big key component in SRK's starting and helping me get a leg up, and he's still around and he gives me advice all the time, and he likes to hang out with me and kind of like, you know, beat me up when it comes to auction stuff. And, you know, I told him, I'm like, God, I'm buying 10 bikes. He's like, yeah, we'll see that, you know. So that's fine. Anytime there's an auction, Guy's normally hanging around me. Or I'm hanging around Guy, I guess is what it is.
50 pound of a pound of a 40 pound of a 50 pound of a 6 7 7 7 7 7 7 7 8 9. I get it 57 8 8 8 8 7 8 8 57 8 8 5 7 58. I get it 8 sir. I get it 57 58. Internet, you're out. Where to go? I get it 7 8 8 2 58. I get it 7 8 8 5 57 58 $5,700. Sold you bought it. I get it 430.
I love when these higher mileage ultra classics go through at the auction. 70,000 miles, 80,000, even 60,000. No one else wants them. We love these things. First of all, we know that they run forever. This one was highly maintained. I actually knew about this vehicle. I knew it was heavily maintained. I knew paperwork existed for it. It was super clean. No one bid on it. It was just ghost town. We got this thing for a killer deal. I was pumped. It only took us a week to sell the bike.
Yeah.
I have no idea how much money we spent, but we need to buy that H2 limo.
Just roll out, and then we'll grab some food, and then come grab a check and come back.
Cool.
Dude, there was like 3 bikes, if not all of the bikes, that I was like, what's going on here? Like there's some stuff where the number that we were gonna sell it for, I think sold for $2,000 more than that number. And then there's other stuff where I'm going a couple $1,000s back from what we're gonna sell it for, and we're $2,000 away from it, and I'm the highest bid, and they're fishing for bids, and I'm like, am I missing something?
That's what I kept
Is this
doing,
the right bike? And I'm looking over here, and I'm like, screw it.
Dude, for the second bike that went through, I was so annoyed. Was that R1200 GS, and I looked at my paper, and nobody was bidding on it, and I kept looking at my paper thinking like, did I miss something on what's wrong with this bike? And then it ended up selling for like $500 less than what I wanted to get it for, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I was so bummed. That was like the second bike that went through. I was so nervous. I'm like, I'm screwing something up right now. I know it.
I really wanted that bike.
I did
You were buying every bike behind the bike that you thought you were buying.
Dude, yeah, no, I looked down at my paper and I had retail, I had 8,900, and I had written next to there, just so I didn't realize it, 7,900. So when I quick glanced down, I thought that was the retail number, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense, and it did like $6,800. And then I looked back and I'm like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. Dude. Did you get the trike, the Goldwing? What'd it do?
That thing went crazy.
I walked away when it did $24,000.
Yeah. Went so high.
Dude, the Ruckuses, I had literally numbers on my board of $500 on the Ruckuses. They both did like $1,700 a piece. Which, when you look at after the auction fees, a brand new one's only like $2,200. So dude, it went so cheap. It went for $7,700 and retails $10 grand on that thing. What? So that was the cheapest. The cheapest 2014 V-Rod I can find was $9,900. And this has no miles on it. This has like 4,000 miles on it. So we got it. Even if we got to switch the bars back, whatever.
Did we just take the dates off?
Probably. We got that at Kawasaki Vulcan 1,700. We got that for 4,600. I had a retail number of 6 on that. So it's a little more than I wanted to pay.
You pretty happy with how that went?
Yeah, and I think our numbers when we were pricing them out were fairly on the conservative side.
Yeah.
Your brake lights now, fix it.
Hey, you know what? I don't fix any of my brake lights. I'm waiting for my left one to go out and then they match. What up, Jimmy? Looks like you're driving a Subaru.
Yo, so the DRZ 400 SM, I was like, I want this bike. My retail number was $4,500, which is actually a pretty solid retail number. Like, that was like middle of the road retail. So my buy number obviously was like $3,500. Dude, it sold for $5,800. Bro, and then after your auction fees, dude.
That's like $61,000 after auction fees.
$6,100, yeah.
Dude, no joke, you could buy a brand new one for that.
Yeah.
I feel like I screwed up a little bit. That's the first time I've bid not using my own money.
Add those numbers up while I'm gone.
All right.
I'm guessing 75,000. I'm hoping it's less than 75,000.
It probably will be.
Dude, we got a ton of great stuff though. We got 12 bikes.
More than 80,000. No one's getting paychecks.
Nah, it's gonna be less than. It'll be definitely less than 75,000.
So 60. It's like 63,600.
So to wrap up the day, we bought 12 bikes, which is more than what we expected. We spent $64,000, which is fine. That was awesome. It was less than what our limit was. And we got some awesome bikes. One needed a battery. Some of the Harleys needed key fob, batteries. The one Harley, we lost the key for it during transport, and then drove back and found it right there on the floor. So it was an awesome day. Probably one of my best experiences that I've ever had at an auction. We've already sold, like 2 weeks later, we've already sold, I think, 4, maybe half the bikes. So I got no complaints. It was a good day.